All right, the nonprofit organization WallBuilders, founded by historian David Barton, recently tried to advertise on the side of some Washington, D.C. public buses, and his ad was rejected for allegedly violating advertising guidelines. Well, what did the ad show? Well, it showed our founding fathers along with this text that said, Christian, question mark. To find out about the faith of our founders, go to wallbuilders.com. Well, does that sound anything like something that should be rejected? Well, we certainly don't think so. But guess what? Neither does the leftist organization ACLU. Even they are throwing their hands up in the air on all of this. Well, that tells you something. Well, joining me now to discuss this is WallBuilders President Tim Barton and attorney Jeremy Dyes of First Liberty Institute, which is among the groups challenging the advertising restrictions of the Washington Metropolitan Area Transit Authority. So Tim and Jeremy, welcome back to Washington Watch. Great to have you both.
Thanks, Congressman. Good to be with you.
Thanks for having us.
Well, it's our honor to have you. Tim, let me begin with you. Just walk us through your efforts to try to get these ads on the buses there in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, well, I mean, Congressman, as you know, we do a lot to try to teach Americans about American history. We go back to original documents, and we were in the middle of rebuilding a website, and we thought what would be really fun is in kind of conjunction with the rollout of the new website, do an ad campaign. And we thought for people that are going to learn American history, there's not many places more people go than Washington, D.C. When you have the Smithsonian's and the Library of Congress, the National Archives, the Capitol building, there's so much there. And we thought that would be a great place for us to advertise, to let people know about the new website, all the things we're doing at WallBuilders. And so we thought, well, what would be easy is to put up a picture of a really notable founding father, George Washington, and then just ask a question and direct people to the website, where on our website, we actually acknowledge that the opening paragraphs is, our claim is not that every one of the founding fathers were necessarily Christian, although they're not also guilty of what they're often accused of today. However, if you want to know more about the founding fathers, we encourage you to study their own writings, see for yourself what they said, and then we have dozens and dozens of quotes from the founding fathers talking about their faith. And this isn't us projecting anything. This is literally us saying, here are the quotes. But when we took out that ad, there was an agency we worked with. The agency came back to us and they said, hey, the person in charge of these ads over for the buses has said that this is not acceptable. It's not going to work. And so we quickly contacted First Liberty and said, okay, guys, what do we do? And part of their advice was, well, let's just see what the problem is. Maybe let's ask a few more questions. And so one of the things that we tried was if we remove the word Christian and just have a picture of George Washington kneeling in prayer from the kind of iconic view of Valley Forge, or maybe the founding fathers at the Constitutional Convention, and if we just have that image and then a little QR code leads people to the website, maybe that could be enough. And even then, we were told that that was not an acceptable ad because it violated some of their guidelines. And among the guidelines, it's crazy that they say that anything with a controversial view is not allowed, or if it's anything political or religious, which at that point, that's just super arbitrary and subjective. And so we really felt like there was somebody at the Metro group, the WMATA, who was kind of in charge of this. Somebody targeted us and said that we just don't like these guys and we're not going to let them advertise. And so fortunately, we were able to get with First Liberty, and they're helping represent us on this case.
Incredible. All right, Jeremy, let me jump over to you then. Tell us about the lawsuit and what the argument is.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. We just simply say that there's somebody at Metro that has way too much authority, and they can pick and choose what advertisements they're going to allow on the bus. For instance, you've got advertisements on DC Metro buses that include advertisements for alcohol, online gambling. You have advertisements for a social justice school in the DC Metroplex. There's an advertisement for the Book of Mormon, that satire musical that lampoons religion more generally. And then some of my favorites, you've got advertisements for Plan B, as well as an advertisement for advocating for term limits of Supreme Court justices. Again, their advertising guidelines say that they don't allow advertisements that have issues presenting various public opinions, on which there could be varying public opinions. Well, That's everything. And yet they'll allow advertisements for gambling and alcohol and worse, but deny advertisements featuring the guy kneeling in prayer, of which their town is actually named. And so we've just simply alleged that this is obvious and open viewpoint discrimination that they have no business controlling, that they've vested way too much authority in the hands of one administrator. And that's the kind of thing that the Supreme Court has said repeatedly our Constitution forbids.
Unbelievable. Were you surprised of the ACLU's support in all of this?
Look, I was grateful to have their participation. We're obviously on different ends of the ideological spectrum, but we both agree, perhaps where we overlap the most, is that the government deciding who can speak and where they can speak is a really, really bad idea. And so even though they may disagree or even agree with this message, it doesn't matter. They believe pure speech, free speech ought to reign in this country as it has for 200 plus years, and are willing to join us and link arms with WallBuilders to stand for that very important principle, not just for WallBuilders, but for every religious organization and every other speaker across this country. I think that's a very laudable move on their part and for us as well.
Well, listen, I want to thank both of you guys for the incredible work that you do separately and now together. You're heroes and to so many of us across the country. We're definitely going to be keeping a pulse on this as it goes forward and look forward to talking with you further. Merry Christmas to both of you. God bless.